Among the most common sexual sins, pregnancy and abortion, all ugly sins, but in and of themselves, they're pernicious evils.
When we remove the Lord's name, Emmanuel, from the name of his church, we inadvertently remove him as the central focus of our worship and our lives. This is not the Church of Latter-day Saints, of Joseph Smith. This is the Church of Jesus Christ.
Travis went good, so nobody's watching me this morning. An hour and only one viewer, and it's not me, because YouTube, as of last week, with the several 1,000+ view videos, have resorted to sabotaging me by not counting me to trigger the algorithms to show my videos to other people. And so they're punishing me by orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so yeah, my views are now tanking to help save and protect the church from the big, bad, mean old Travis who's not letting them practice their religious freedom to take away yours. So, let's get to some news first, and then we'll do some comment replies, as nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. So, I think there's an apartment for rent in this building. Last week, on the 5th, a 3-day notification sign went up, and it was still there. Somebody had tried to rip it down, but it was still there, which means that was after the 3 days. But the apartments go fast here. The A building that was ready for people to move in for Thanksgiving, yeah, it's all leased out and people are moving in now. And so to get into one of these buildings requires the right timing with somebody who gets evicted. So in case anybody's looking for an apartment, as apartments are scarce, and it's a little bit cheaper than other apartments in the valley at this location. You do have to pay for electric. It's either a 1 or a 2 bedroom apartment, so you have to qualify for a 1 or a 2 bedroom. And technically, if you've got the money, you qualify. And so, yeah, if you're a single woman, email me. I'll give you the address. Otherwise, you'll have to wait for 2 years until they finish the age building. But if you're really wanting to get in there and you don't believe that the church is ever going to destroy this place with a day that shall burn as an oven, then yeah, invest now. Try to get in to get your apartment reserved for 2 years from now. But the church is planning on something else for Utah at that point. As the St. George Temple dedication happened on Saturday. And because Holland was the new president of the Quorum of the 12, they had him do it to let everybody know he's not dead yet. Church authority is still intact. Nothing to see here. Move along. And again, the news will not investigate the church. They will not expose the crimes of the church. And so KSL, for example, 3 times repeating the same content, just in a different presentation. It was the same title, but the minutes were off from each other, so it was different content. And it was all about the quote that Holland gave. I'm planning on eternity. And not a single press will go to section 119 about tithing. And this is the sad reality. The church is so powerful, they control the press. They're not the Deseret News. They're not the church news. They're supposed to be independent of the church. But nope. They support the church. They will not speak evil of the Lord's anointed. And so, verily, thus saith the Lord. Well, through Joseph, it says 1838, must have been by Joseph. Because nothing else important happened that year. I require, stay away from section 64, which was actually Joseph Smith's tithing, from Malachi. This is not from Malachi. But when we used to have tithing settlement, as it's now called something else, the bishop would quote Malachi. And I'm sitting there going, that's not the same as what this money is being used for. That the church now had the bishops say what it's used for now. Whatever we damn well want it to be used for. That's what it says. Damn. Right there in the small fine print on the tithing slips. I require all their surplus property to be put into the hands of the bishop of my church. So know your supply of food. Nope, that's surplus. Give it to the church. Know your supply of hygiene, first aid kits, clothing. Nope, give it to the church. Know your supply. Into the hands of my bagman of my church in Zion for the building of mine house, temple. No longer tithing is no longer used for temples. That's the temple fund. It's a different source of income now. Or laying the foundation of Zion. Yeah. The overthrow of the government of the United States of America and all over the world, as Cook on Friday demanded that Parliament stand down and hand it over to the church. And for the priesthood. Isn't that priestcraft? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2 Nephi, chapter 26, near the end. The Lord says no priestcrafts. But oops, this says the Lord now requires priestcraft. Well, that's weird. Why would Joseph Smith go against the Lord in the Book of Mormon? What happened in 1838 to cause Joseph to become this completely different person? And for the debts of the presidency of the church. Yeah, the money they get for priestcraft as a presidency, they can keep on spending. Paid for by the members, participants now. I'd forgotten. Ooh, I knew that was going to be a tricky one. You're a participant now. You're no longer a member. And if you're not a participant because you're not paying any amount of tithing, You're now excommunicated. You've been dropped. And I still have Mormons trying to argue that. No, Travis. You're Mormon-splaining to me, you dumbasses. 53 years, born and raised in the covenant with alt-right Mormons, born and raised in the covenant. Both went on missions. They had a Mormon library. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah, that's just the beginning. Because then there's more tithing you have to pay. 1/10 of all your interest annually. But nope, Benson changed that to, yeah, if you're a slave working for a corporation, you know, like Cosmix, yeah, you have to pay 1/10. And so, yeah, if you don't have enough money to pay for rent, I'm sorry, church comes first. Don't have enough money to pay for food? Sorry, church comes first. Don't have enough money to pay for diapers or medicine? Nope, sorry, church comes first. Doesn't matter if you're poor. Church will not take care of you. You must sacrifice your life for the church. It's the law of sacrifice. Previous one was law of gospel, in case you didn't know. I know what I'm talking about. And so, the new apostle, Elder Kearon, is now involved in Priestcraft. It's unclear as to whether or not which members of the General 70 or presiding bishopric are involved with Priestcraft also. The Area 70 it again depends on the circumstances. The church wants to purposely hire people who are self-sufficient so that they don't have to pay to support their lifestyles, so that it all goes to the prophets. As Irene's paycheck stubs got leaked on Mormon Leaks. But this is what Mormons are not understanding, what the news is not investigating and reporting, is that Kearon now is practicing priestcraft. And so that's going to be the thumbnail picture. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's watching anymore. Kearon Priestcraft. And it could be the title in the video too. We'll see. But he's Saudi Arabian. That's where his parents still are. And if you remember, Princess Jasmine, not Jasmine and James, LDS First Presidency meets with Princess Saudi Arabia. March 2020. And Princess Rima met with First Presidency on her previous visit to Salt Lake City in March 2020. This was actually August 15th, 2022 when that was put up. So yeah, she's been here a couple of times. And so with her, she wasn't here to learn about the Book of Mormon. She wasn't here to learn about the love of Heavenly Father has for his underage child bride daughters. They already practiced that in Islam. She was there to do business. It had nothing to do. Yep, there she is. And I remember doing the meme from the videos I covered on it. Because I know what this means. It was just a matter of time until we found out what it actually is all about. Why this other... Are you kidding me? But it's for business. She herself, after talking with terrorists, talked to the reporters saying, no, I do everything for my people. I don't care who they are. I'm not interested in them. I'm interested in my people. Everything is for my people. And so she doesn't care about the church. She doesn't care about the Book of Mormon or the Relief Society. It's for her people. There's a business transaction going on, and it benefits Saudi Arabia. And so the church got a deal in the same process. And so this is why Kearon was put in. Because it hasn't been since Hales since somebody died. So now there's an opening. And who do they put in? They put in Kearon, who's Saudi Arabian. This is to help reaffirm their business deal with the Saudi princess. This is what it's for. You're living in a naive little bubble world trying to gaslight me on what's going on here. Nobody's even listening anyway, so why does it matter? YouTube has silenced me yet again. And so now Kearon is practicing priestcraft. He's an agent of a foreign government, not reported to the United States of America. And now he's an apostle. To be the liaison with Saudi Arabia. You know, Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post journalist, American, chopped up into little pieces with an Arabian Night sword, and then stuffed in a barrel, an oil barrel, at the embassy. That's the kind of people Mohammed bin Salman is. That's Islam for you. That's what the princess is all about. And now the church is in bed with her. And nobody seems to care, and nobody's investigating, and it's up to me. I'm the only one covering this. You won't find any other critic talking about this. They have no clue. I don't even think they're talking about Kearon. And they probably don't care. They don't care about the scandal. Because for him to be ordained when there is no need, it's unprecedented. Nelson's not dead. It's not a change in the leadership of the church like Holland was that I did the video on. It was a dumbass who thought he knew better than me. So I even put in the clip of why Holland was chosen with the one other apostle before him. Yeah. He was second to the other guy. But Holland outlived the other guy. I have to check the video to find out who it was. And so that's the dark side of Mormonism that I did yesterday. But this is all part of their plan. The news was covering right before this of the old age of the prophets. And now they're starting to die. And so their news is concerned, oh no, is the church going to continue to exist and lead, guide, and direct us? And so now Holland, he's better. He's cured. Healing power of Jesus. Not the medical doctors. They had no role in it. And so thus, Kearon, to calm Mormons down that the church will continue to exist, that we'll make it to 8 April 2024 for that weekend conference on the 6th and the 7th, even though the construction workers extorted the church for more money, said it has to be delayed. Salt Lake Temple and the Palace of Jesus, delayed. Palace of Jesus, it's being built, I see it. Jesus is getting a new palace. Because it's his second coming, he's here. They got to build his palace for the millennium. And so, yeah, this is the sad reality that nobody wants to investigate. Nobody cares to know the church's plot and plans. They hate you. They're using you right now for their purposes. And so for the apartment, if you're a spy for the church, yeah, don't even bother emailing me. Stay away. I don't want you here. You are the enemy. All right, Paul, let's see what you got. Dark Side of Mormonism. He says, hi, Travis. It's kind of long. If you're asking questions, I'm not going to do that. I'll do a separate video for that. So let's see what you have to say here. I have to say that I'm a little envious of your cool baby name meanings. You have baby name meanings too. Paul, and then son of bride. So baby name meaning Paul, which is similar to Saul. That's small and humble. So yeah, I can understand why you're envious. Surname meaning McBride. Servant, son of the servant of Saint Brigitte. It's Northern Irish and Scottish. Apparently there's something going on in Northern Ireland, from what I understand. Another fighting that's going on out there. Anglicized from the Gaelic, Mac Brigdi, and thus Bridget, phonetically the same. A shortened form of Irish, Mac Giola, Brigdi, and Scottish Gaelic, Mac Gilly, Brigdi. I'm probably butchering it, obviously. Son of the servant of Saint Brigitte. But that's French, so it'd have to be Brigitte. Pronounce the T. So, I don't know if you knew that, but there you go. There's your cool baby name meanings. My dad named me Paul, after Paul in the Bible, because he felt that I would be a good missionary. You stoned Stephen. And you took the thunder away from Peter. Which I thought sounded good until I consulted with two Hebrew white supremacist scholars. gets that from Nelson when he said Israel means let God prevail. He goes, actually, I Googled it. And learned that Paul means small or humble. Yeah. But I guess it could be worse. Yeah, you could be called Russell Marion and be the leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And calling your son of the Dark One to be the next Priestcrafter. And sure enough, at least my baby name doesn't mean Lucifer. Like President Red Star Nelson, or son of the Dark One, like the newly called ordained and not sustained. Oops, Saudi Arabia connected. Yep, Paul's listening. Good for you, Elder Kearon. Despite the prophecies of the Book of Mormon, Isaiah, Revelations, and Doctrine and Covenants, having such capable leaders at the helm, I'm sure the great and abominable church has a bright and promising future. They aspire to ascend to the throne. That is, unless Isaiah's Davidic servant shows up. Yeah, where is he? He's been missing. I don't know where he would be to start his ministry in Utah on September 23rd, 2017. I get it, Paul. You have been listening for a while. I get it. When the sign of the Son of Man should happen to start battling Goliath. Yep, all by myself. Sing along, Mark. My money is on the Jewish scriptures. Yeah, because the race has already begun, so no more bets are being taken. Joseph Smith in the learning of the Jews, and on the Davidic servant Emmanuel coming out on top. The race is on, and here comes pride in the backstretch. Heartaches moving to the inside. Alrighty. Enough of jokes and fooling around. Dealing with unintelligent Mormonism. You can't see me. Oh, he's John Cena. Isn't that hilarious? But the thumbnail is something else. Not quite sure what it is. John Cena caved to China. Could not stand for his standards and values. Yeah, it's an astronaut on the moon. Isn't that great? We can't see him on the moon. He's a moon man. And so he then says, this would be the third instance in modern times. Neil A. Maxwell was ordained July 23rd, 1981, and sustained October 1981 conference. Jeffrey R. Holland was ordained June 23rd, 1994, and sustained. You forgot the other guy that came in with Holland that was before him. He did not watch my video. He did not see the clip. He did not hear what I said about the topic. You can't hear me, apparently. You can't see the video clip. Dear God. So no, Neil A. Maxwell, likewise, in that video clip, was also a special exception. There is no justifiable reason for Kearon to be ordained now. There's plenty of apostles. But yes, they're all about to die. Because that's the way Brigham Young set it up. And that's why he's the exception. See, under Jeffrey R. Holland, 2 die and the president. So a new president takes over and 2 fill in the gaps. It's that simple. So, same with Neil A. Maxwell. You got to do your research. You can't just think you know better by looking things up and not getting a clue of what the big picture is. This was done on purpose. It is for a deal with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was involved with the 9/11 attacks. The church has a long history with 9/11 themselves. So, dumbass gets banned. Alright, and then Jasmine, Stanford, and Jasmine. We'll do Stanford here, and then Jasmine will be a separate video. Because she has Greek and Jezebel to talk about. I should check the other one, though. That's a new one, right before I went to bed. So we'll have to check to see if there's any questions in that one. Stanford, question. Is the temple prostitution clothing fact pattern in Tamar's story the basis for Mormon women's clothing and face veil command in the true order of prayer? And this is the whole temple thing. But yeah, we're also supposed to veil themselves at the veil as well. Emblematic of echoes of temple prostitutes. This is for the Tamar video, obviously. I saw in the news clip that the UN has declared war on Israel. The whole board of directors of the UN. The UN was responsible for helping Israel get into Israel in the first place. And now they're calling for the extermination of the Israelis. And I saw the members on the board. I saw the women with the hijab. They are Islamic. Islam took over the UN. That's why they're no longer supporting Israel and are now calling for their extermination. Because Islam, upset that the UN supported Israel, decided to infiltrate and rise up in authority and coup it. So that now they can use the UN as a weapon against Israel. This is what they do. All the refugees over the generations, they are sleeper cells and are now being activated in America and all around the world, as they claim it's pro-Palestinian, not pro-Hamas. The New York Times article. Let's find out who the writer is, the reporter is for that article. How Israel secretly propped up Hamas. Well, you first have to understand Hamas was considered a rogue element of the Palestinians, of Islam, as a separate extremist faction that they claimed they were. And so the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And thus, I see exactly why Israel would pay Hamas. Because Palestine and the Gazans have been fighting against Israel too, all these generations. The so-called innocent civilians have been fighting the Israelis. That's why they have to post guards at the borders. That's why they had to have the weapon system to try to take down as many missiles as possible that come into Israel. It's because of the people, too, are terrorists. The prisoners that Israel took in this war, they were the ones fighting Israel. They did not leave. They did not fight against Hamas. They were fighting Israel. They were using weapons against Israel. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to know the truth. So this New York Times article comes out. And who is it? Mark Mazzetti and Ronan Bergman. That sounds Italian. I'm not sure about Bergman. They're not clicking on anything. Says he's an Israeli investigative journalist. Where's the Wikipedia page? So is he a Judas? His parents were both Holocaust survivors. So apparently he's a Judas. And who was the other guy? Mark Mazzetti. Because when you do not understand the big picture, and obviously the military of Israel cannot disclose their whole military strategies to the people, that would be stupid. As a journalist, he should have known better. Mazzetti is American, born in Washington, D.C. He attended Regis and Kathy Philippin High School in New York City. He's a Duke man, public policy and history, and then went to Oxford. Married in Virginia, 2 children. So it doesn't indicate if he's Italian or what nationality. But we can check the surname meaning. Surname meaning Mazzetti. From the plural diminutive of Mazza. So what is Mazza? The common occupational name for a person who was a tool maker. In Italian, mazza, toolmaker. So, yeah, it's poor journalism on their part. They find a little bit of information, they think they've got a story, they run with it, they expand it and exaggerate it, and don't know the bigger picture of the military operations that are going on. And they're purposely in denial of the history. Shame on the Israeli. And so, the part of the veil is taken from the Bible. This was written during the Roman period time. This was not the ancient practice per se, other than traditions that get passed down and corrupted and changed over time. Because I'd have to redo the video for you guys on the origins in Egypt, and then altered by Mesopotamians, and then the Greeks, and then the Romans, as it changed through time. And that's how you can tell when a book was written, is whether they use a Roman period versus Babylonian period or an Egyptian period, because this was supposedly during the Egyptian period. But that's not the practice during the Egyptian period. But it was the practice during the Greek and Roman period. And so thus we can confirm, as the documents date to that time period anyway, or just after the time period of the Romans, that sure enough, that's what the author was using. And that's when the author was, when he wrote the book, the Jewish author. And so the concept of a veil is temple associated, obviously. But it's been twisted modernly, because refugee women of Islam in America, many news loves to show how they're now free by not having to wear the veil, the face covering of the hijab. Only Islamic women wear the veil. It's not ordered for girls. So once you are married, you now wear the veil in certain groups. But for all Islam women married, you have to wear the hijab, cover up your hair. And so the moral police in Iran, for example, murdered the girl because she didn't conform to their higher standards and for strength of youth pamphlet book values. Because we're just like Islam, aren't we? And so she was stoned to death. And the women rose up in Iran. And I haven't heard much on that lately. I hope they didn't stop. I hope they weren't silenced and murdered. And so that has been taken to the extreme. It is a religious symbolism of exalting a woman. It is not intended to cover her up and hide her like Lucifer's plan of happiness, to shame her for being a woman. That's Lucifer's plan, not the original Egyptian version. And so that needs to be understood, that the current church, with their practices, does it for the purpose that Lucifer tells us. That's why there's the inverted pentagram on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple, which means Lucifer's doctrines are taught therein. And so despite the church outwardly saying that Lucifer's the bad guy, they still follow him. And so the Tamar issue is not the same as the current church. And it didn't mean that she was a temple prostitute, sacral prostitute. Because women can veil their faces anytime they want to back in those days. And all it was her wanting Judah to follow the law, as I go over in the story. And so it is different. And so with Nelson doing away with the veil now, women are fooled into thinking that, oh, we're free. The church is no longer sexist. 2019 is blacks 1978. And yet, James knows all too well that the church still teaches racism to the youth of the church. They haven't stopped teaching racism, just like they haven't stopped teaching sexism. So you had to be careful about what changes Nelson made, from what he took away, but what he replaced them with. And women missed it. And the news did not report it. And Mormons don't care. They don't memorize the text, especially when it's a video. See, when you have a live performance that the Salt Lake Temple had, yeah, you get lots of ordinance workers who get their turn to have to memorize the text. But now, doing it all videos, nobody's going to bother to try to memorize it anymore. So the older generation are going to die off, and the younger generation aren't going to bother to memorize. They aren't going to remember what was in the temple, and the church won't make it available publicly. They won't publish the book. The text of the temple, section 139 of the Doctrine and Covenants. No, they won't do that. Right, Nelson? You won't do that. Just like you won't release the General Handbook of Instructions that will reveal the sacred secrets you've been trying to keep secret from us all these generations. You would never reveal that publicly, because, wow, there's some bombshells in there you got to keep secret. Wouldn't want that to slip in the public view, would you? It slipped. And so, yeah, there's a big difference. The one is that the woman is a goddess, and mere mortal men cannot look upon her. Only her husband. Now it's she's shameful and sinful and needs to cover up and hide. She is a sex slave to her husband. So it got completely flip-flopped. So, there you have it. So now let's see if the other Jasmine comment can be made. Yeah, I don't see a question. Yeah, I don't see a question. Okay. So we'll close with Jasmine, as that is the theme. I will be using Speechless in the song in the description below by Jasmine, as it will be the video version, not the studio recording version, because the video version has the one part that she sings that just hits me, and I feel it throughout my whole body, and I start to tear up. Her acting in that song, I'm already feeling it. It's powerful. And it's tough to watch. But there's a glitch in the recording. He needs to redo it to remove that glitch. But otherwise, that powerful. Okay, Jasmine. Jasmine asks about Latter-day Prophecy of Biblical Tomorrow. Hello, Travis. We have a change. Breaking news. Jasmine now says hello. Uh-oh. What's that mean? I was told at Rick's College by a woman that I am supposed to initiate greetings, and I am only supposed to say hi. I am not allowed to say hello. I am not allowed to let the woman initiate greetings. And so the woman's proper response in that communication is to say hello. But there's a problem that she did not seem to understand, is that when a woman is beautiful and not veiled, the man sees her and is speechless because of her beauty, and so he stumbles in his speech. That means he likes you. And so yes, the whole greeting is foiled in that instant. Will you please get some sleep? Yes, mother. Even though we don't have much time left, as rested Travis is a better Travis. I have no problem sleeping. The narcolepsy is a completely separate thing, and it doesn't ruin my sleep pattern. I can go to sleep an hour or two after waking up from a narcoleptic episode and still go right back to sleep, as if I didn't have sleep. And I go to sleep instantly. Only if I'm flooded with inspiration that I have to keep turning back on the light and write down on the pad and stick in a pile, never get to it. I go right to sleep. I'm programmed and conditioned to put myself to sleep. No matter the torture that the church puts me through, no matter the loud conditions that may be going on while I'm trying to sleep, I can go right to sleep. I can hypnotize myself to go to sleep. And Mountain Dew, the only difference with Mountain Dew is that I can sleep for 5 to 6 hours versus no Mountain Dew, 8-9 hours. I sleep longer with no Mountain Dew. With Mountain Dew, I sleep the normal, healthy 5 or 6 hours. So Mountain Dew, the dew of the gods. Little plug for Mountain Dew there. But yeah, consult your doctor. You most likely will get the headaches on the back of your head that the National Geographic did an article on. And I have no idea about addiction to caffeine. I have not experienced any addictions to caffeine. I can go years without Mountain Dew. And I would prefer to have cran raspberry juice. 100% cran raspberry juice, not cocktail. Smith fooled me last month. It looks the same. The labels looks exactly the same, and obviously the color is the same. But you have to read it carefully, because the one says 100% and the other says cocktail underneath the title. I was wondering why I had extra money to spend on food. Didn't make sense. I had budgeted perfectly. Why do I have more money? So, yeah, I would rather have 100% fruit juice. And yeah, Apple juice is fine, grape juice is fine, but cran raspberry. That's my favorite. Raspberries. So yes, raspberry jam. Yeah. If there's a raspberry pie, yeah. I love raspberries. So did my mom. But my mom was allergic to raspberries when she eats too much. She got a rash as a little girl, according to what she said. But we had raspberry bushes in Placentia, California, off to the side of the house. But, fun times. You know, to go back to your comment yesterday about how you have a problem with me being negative. As you can see, it doesn't create me. I am able to separate it. The abuse from my family, the abuse from the church, the abuse from Mormons, the abuse from the Mormon government. I am able to control my life. They don't control me. They've destroyed me. I'm here because they destroyed me. But they don't control me. And so yes, I'm happy. I've been alone my whole life. But I'm happy. I don't fall into depression, want to commit suicide, or go on a terrorist gay spree, as psychologists claim I would do. Psychologists don't control me. I control me. I control my emotions to the interpretations of events that occur. I know who to properly blame for what's been done to me. And so I know better than to blame other women who were not involved for what some other woman did to me. But after thousands of Mormon women, I'm seeing a pattern. I don't like it. And so, yeah, I personally find sleep annoying. I don't want to go to sleep. I want to keep working. I want to keep doing this. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I chose to get an education in. And so that's why you're awesome, is because I get to turn your questions about what I love to do into a video to help Mormons. That's why you're awesome. You do Greek here. I get to bring up Greek in a video now because you are asking a question using Greek. That's exciting for me. It would be great to have a girlfriend, if not a wife, who is as passionate about my interests so that, you know, it would be awesome. But I've come to learn I can't expect that. I've come to learn that women have their own value and their own excitement for me, even though they do not share the same excitement for what I do. And I don't let that govern my choice of a woman. They govern by not allowing me to choose. But I don't pass up on a blonde or a brunette simply because I prefer red. You know, blondes and brunettes are cool too. They have excitement that I want to share in. If they would open up and commit. But, you know, anyway. Joy and Meredith, my friends, are now knowing that the literal walking on water Jesus is not real. I walked on water. It's totally real. It's easy to do. Haven't you seen the movie with Drew Barrymore? It's the Cinderella reversion. Ever After. Yeah. I love that movie. It's a chick flick. So get some Kleenex, get some ice cream. Get a nice warm blanket. Especially now, as Tennessee has been utterly destroyed by God. But, yeah. Walk on water. It's easy. They are now starting to question what all they have been taught versus what's really going on. All your friends had no chance with you as their friend. With your studying ability, yeah, they had no chance. I am glad you got my prophet reference, LOL. If there was ever proof that people should listen to you, it's this video. Yeah. Inspired by you. I would have never gotten to this video if it wasn't for you. The other one, Jeremiah 10, would never have gotten to that one if it hadn't been for you. That's how valuable you are. I have never made that connection, but digging into some things you have explained gave me a notion to look at the Tamar story. Hopefully I am able to connect things as well as you do. That's why I'm here. I sent you an email link. I don't know if you got it. For Jewish Kabbalah, to give you the initial primers to learn. It's 11 o'clock there, isn't it? Oh, I see you've got a comment here. It's not a reply to my comment, though. It's a separate one. Gmail. Just face it, you guys are a monopoly. Quit buffering. There's no reason for it. Wow, this is a deep one. And one that I will not share publicly. Cool. So I'll deal with that one later. Alrighty. Am I blushing? I am, aren't I? Wow. Well. Where were we? Hopefully I will be able to as well as I am here. And you are pretty sweet too. And that's sweet. We're all sweet, as you're telling me to get to sleep. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, email me. I can teach you whatever you want to learn. When I had my website, that's what I was designing it for. So that there would be instructions for the ancient languages and going over the scriptures with the corrected information and provide videos and audios, because I paid for the business plan to have unlimited, and then it was bought out by Square, which was the financial payment option versus PayPal. And then the church, I had found out, owned stock in Square. And so the day after I filed against the church, the new Square shut me down. We've changed our system. Bye-bye. What? And so, yeah, I got screwed out on the remainder of the months left on my payment, and was forced to no longer do websites. And checking, the church purposely invests in all of the website companies. GoDaddy, Wix, all of them. To suppress guys like me. That's why they own stock in Google. That's why Google bought out YouTube. Is so that they can suppress YouTube and thus suppress me. Facebook and Instagram and anybody that doesn't help the church, they get them sued and silenced. Had nothing to do with China, because otherwise they would have supported China. But they had Sean Reyes try to shut them down for porn for kids. So, alrighty, another video.